Pryde's Picks is spoiler heavy and full of crude language. I swear like a sailor, and Lockheed's no better. Consider yourself warned. Hey everyone, it's May 15th and I'm here with this week's Pryde's Picks. Now, a lot of you have already been complaining online that the book poll is kind of weak this week. So I decided, since I skipped last week, I would just grab a few books from last week, throw them in with the few I enjoyed this week, and share it all with you. Since DC let me down and didn't put out anything I cared to pick up, I have mostly Marvel, Image, and Dark Horse comics. So deal with it. Let's start with Buffy, Season 9, Issue 21. Now, 20 ended with us not being sure if Xander was going to help the bad guys or the good guys because Dawn's life was in jeopardy, and he was kind of thinking his best interest would be to go the bad route. In this book, you get a glimpse into what Xander's thinking. And, I mean, he's Xander. He can't really let us down, right? Or can he? I'm not going to ruin which way he goes, but I have to say that the art in this book is awful. I've never liked the art in this book. Every time I pick it up, the inside of the book is just it's disgusting to read. It just doesn't do anything for me. But these covers by Phil Noto are absolutely stunning. This is Willow circa back when I was in high school and had like a lesbian crush on her. I mean, it looks just like the Willow I was in love with when I was in high school and just thought she was the coolest chick in the world. And the cover itself made me pick this book up and want to share it with you guys. The inside, not so much. Dawn is still sick. Willow is using a little bit of her powers, trying to do what she can. But you find out that there might be a way for them to tap into magic, and maybe bring about something that could help. I'm not going to spoil it for y'all if you were neck deep in this Buffy issue. I don't want to ruin it. But if not, not much happens. You could wait for the trade on this one. And definitely go drool over the cover of how adorable Allison Hannigan looks. Moving on to last week's The Walking Dead issue 110. I am still waiting for something to happen, alright? It has now been 10 issues of me sitting with my thumb up my butthole waiting for something to happen. All we find out in this one is a little bit more as to where Cal went and what's going on with him and Jesus. And a little more into what's going on with Ezekiel, the king himself. And Michonne kind of sticking it to him a little and getting him to open up. Oh, this book didn't do much for me. I need action. I want people dying, fucking damn it. Die already. And nothing's happening. And I know they're building suspense and you're thinking this big war is coming. But after 10 issues, I want a war to come. Like, 111 better be it. Or I swear to God, I'm going to put this book down. I said that after 100, and I'm still reading it. You guys suck. Wait for the trade. I am seriously just reading this out of spite right now, because nothing is happening. Freaking Kirkman. Let's start with some of the books from this week, with Age of Ultron, Book 8. This picks up where the last one left off. Sue Storm and Wolverine are now in the present day, after they killed Hank Pym and the world's gone to shit. I liked the way they went with this. They didn't just jump back into present day and kind of just fit in. They jump back into present day and it's a whole new dimension. It's a whole new universe. It's a whole new realm. I don't know if they accidentally jumped dimensions or what. This is where we find out that Tony Stark is in control and why he has all his little Tony bots, his Iron Man little attack bots. Without Hank Pym around, Asgard and Latveria have attacked each other, and they say that technology kind of lost this world and magic rules. So that's why it is a big all-out brawl, and Tony Stark is just keeping his head above water, kind of trying to keep this dictatorship up against Morgana Le Fay, who is a half-fairy, and she's controlling magic, and she's pretty much in control of the realm, and they're just like freaking trying their damnedest to keep together the mess that's left of the world. And Sue Storm and Wolverine are just thrown in the mix, and they're not the same Sue Storm and Wolverine. I assume when they jump back into present, they would just fit right into their little shoes, and nobody would notice they were gone but them. But Tony has read their memories. Tony knows what they went through, and chaos completely ensues. I actually kind of like this book for that reason, because it wasn't what I expected to happen at all. It wasn't what I was anticipating. It wasn't what I thought would come of Sue Storm and Wolverine jumping around, and I was happy about that. I'm not sure if this book's actually going to keep my interest, but this issue itself was enjoyable, so I would say at least read it on the shelf and wait for the trade. But I liked issue 8. I really did. Everybody else might hate me. If you hate me, you can leave some hate mail below and tell me why you didn't like it, but suck it. I liked it. Let's move on to Wolverine and the X-Men, issue 29. This book feels like a filler book. The art inside of it completely let me down. I feel like the art in the beginning was really good, and now, I mean, freaking Kitty Pryde in the big spread of the whole school looks like a fat kid with a dragon on its shoulder, like a little leprechaun on its shoulder. Like, it doesn't look like Kitty Pryde at all. The art in this, each character varies from scene to scene, and it's very annoying to watch. Like, I want to like it. The colors are very beautiful, but it's hard to turn pages when you're like, Wolverine looks like an idiot today, and then the next page, Wolverine looks fine today. This is centered around Wolverine doing a time capsule, which was cool when I was in about 6th grade and thought it was cool, and we buried some freaking Spud McKenzie stickers in my backyard, and God knows if they're still there. I kind of want to go back to that corner of the compost pile and dig that crap up, see what I thought was cool about 20 years ago. But it jumps to the future, 26 years later, and Grandpa Wolverine and the Bamfs find it. But what I thought was weird was that nobody remembered doing this time capsule. Like, nobody. That's weird, right? Like, I feel like somebody would remember that. I remembered it. I mean, it was cheesy and stupid, but I fucking remembered it. So I felt like this was a complete filler. Like, they kind of made it seem like it wasn't that important. But Wolverine gets a key. It was a piece of crap. Wolverine and the X-Men is letting me down. I can't even try to sell it to you guys. The art's awful. The story has pretty much stopped, and it's just kind of treading water. So until we get back to the Uncanny X-Men or the all-new X-Men part of this, I can't tell you to pick this up at all. Don't even read it on the shelf. Don't even flip through it and look at the pictures, because they're not pretty. Let's jump to Ultimate Spider-Man issue 23. Now, Miles Morales, as Spider-Man, got into a huge fight with Venom, and his mom was killed and his dad was hospitalized. So basically, every time you're Spider-Man, one of your parental figures is going to die. So you just gotta deal with it. And everyone's telling him that. Everyone's like, fucking deal with it, dude. Deal with it. Like, I don't understand how he's just supposed to deal. He's a kid. So this is Miles Morales hanging up his costume and calling it quits, and everybody that knows who he is telling him that he shouldn't. I haven't been keeping up with Ultimate Spider-Man at all, but I really enjoyed this book. I liked seeing how hurt he was and belligerent he was to everyone trying to help him, because he's a kid in mourning. He lost his mom, and it's his fault, and he feels awful. And it was endearing. So I will start reading Ultimate Spider-Man just because I want to know what happens with sweet little Miles Morales. You know, when we first met him, he was stealing a television set. Now look at him. Pick it up, read it. I say buy it now. I really liked it. Let's wrap up this week with a new book from Image Comics called Dream Merchant. The best way I could describe this book would be maybe like that video game Catherine meets a teen angsty, drug trippy kind of ABC Family series. I don't even know. This gentleman, Winslow, has this problem where he's an adopted kid. His adopted parents don't even want him. And he's a pain in the ass because he can't remember if he's sleeping or awake, because he has this constant nightmare since he was a child of falling, and he's in this weird world. And then his adopted parents just put him in like an insane asylum because they can't deal with him, and they think he's on drugs. And he's not. He just can't sleep. And he can't figure out what's real and what's, like, he feels like he's asleep when he's awake. So that's where the angsty stuff comes in, because he keeps saying it over and over. But it felt like Catherine in the fact that he didn't want to go to sleep, but at times he had to go to sleep to figure out, like, what was going on. And that reminded me of that video game a lot. He is kind of mopey, and his friends aren't that likable, but I couldn't stop reading the book, and when the dream world kind of jumps into reality, I was incredibly intrigued. I would definitely pick up issue 2 and check it out. It's not as eye-catching and as like instantly enthralling as, say, Saga or Revival. But it's something different, and if you want something different that's gonna engage you, pick up Dream Merchant and give it a shot. If you liked the video game Catherine, pick up Dream Merchant. I think you might like it. I will definitely read issue 2. Thank you, Image Comics. That's it for this week. I saw Iron Man last week, and I loved it. And to piss all of you off, I think it was better than the first one. So in order of movies I liked from Iron Man, it would be 3, 1, 2. If you disagree, leave your rage below. I didn't so much like the combustible people all at the end, like flying all around, being all weird. But all of his little Iron Man bots were awesome. And I loved the part where, oh my god, I'm such a girl, but the part where he reaches out and his suit goes onto Pepper Potts. It was really sweet, and I was a total girl at that moment. I completely swooned, and dude, Tony Stark is still a good-looking guy. That guy's getting old, like, Robert Downey Jr. is getting old, but the makeup makes him look good. And that facial hair, what? Nobody can pull that shit off like him. Go see Iron Man 3 if you haven't. It is a must-see immediately, and leave me rage as to why you don't think I think it should be better than number 1. And good night, everybody. Mwah.